Hey guys, Dave here. This is going to be a somewhat quick video, or as quick as I can keep it, but you know me, I like to ramble and talk, so yeah, take it as it may. I don't know how long it's going to end up being. I'm intending it to be quick, but we shall see. It's kind of a split update, but I also wanted to talk about these two fragrances that I'm splitting because there's not a lot of information out there on them. So I guess I wanted to kind of give my impressions of them as well. First, let's talk about Atelier Cologne Bois Blonds. As you can see, it's actually going to pick it up, surprisingly. That's unusual. Anyway, this is from the House of Atelier, which is actually a fairly new house. From my understanding, they first released fragrances in 2010, and this is one of their two better sellers along with Orange Sanguine. This fragrance is kind of unique to my nose. It does a similar vibe to a lot of things, but very well. It starts out kind of peppery with a orange blossom neroli vibe, but it's not really floral. It's more a fresh pepper with a very refreshing, not quite floral, almost kind of a sweet, really refreshing. Neroli is kind of the hardest note. It's one I love, but it's really hard to describe. It doesn't usually come off as floral to me very often, and this is probably the least floral I get of neroli by far. But once the pepper dies down within about a half an hour, and you're left with this very refreshing green type of fragrance it's very fresh, almost fresh out of the shower, but it's more citrus green and orange blossom neroli. With some woods in the background. It's very light woods. I believe they call them blonde woods. It's almost like a light wood with a greenness, neroli, and very fresh. That is a mouthful. Sorry about that, guys. What I get out of this fragrance is it's basically, to me, it's very fresh, very refreshing, green type of fragrance with a little bit of woods and that neroli. Now, the big thing about this, not only does it smell really, really good, it lasts really, really long on my skin. For this type of fragrance, you'd expect 5-7 hours. That'd be good for a summer fragrance. This is also more versatile. That's the other thing I'm going to talk about. And this thing is lasting at least 8 to 11 hours on my skin with ease. It is actually, it's either 18 or 20% natural ingredients, which is even higher concentration than an eau de parfum. Eau de parfum is usually, I think, 12 to 15, and it's even higher than that, which is pretty highly concentrated for something that's pretty cheap. I'm not sure really what to compare it to. The top reminds me a little bit of a less floral neroli Portofino, but with pepper. That's kind of what I get, but it's not. I don't get florals at all. Like. That's the other thing is this video is also going to be up on Frunkinator's channel, and you guys know he's not usually big on florals. Like Iris, he does not really care much for Neroli Portofino, and I do, and so I like Neroli Portofino. I love this. He doesn't, and he likes this anyway. So I wouldn't say it's all that similar to Neroli Portofino from this. But with the woods and the pepper, I find this to be a very versatile scent. I think it can work in spring, summer, and fall, possibly even winter, because of the pepper and the woods. But it's very, very refreshing, really, really well done fragrance that I absolutely adore. And it's fairly cheap. Now this one I am on bottle 2, have about 50 mLs to fill, I think, 40 or 50, so not too much room left in this one. But it is a fantastic fragrance. It's really not gotten a lot of hype. There's only one review for it on Base Notes. It's a very positive review. There are some other reviewers that really do enjoy this. Teresa really likes this fragrance. Frunkinator likes this fragrance quite a bit. I'm trying to think who else has even smelled it. But it is getting some love, and it should, because it's a very, very good fragrance. So that one I have, I think, 50 mLs left. 30 ml shares, I think, are around $38 or something, so it's not real expensive. The other one that I wanted to talk about is from the house of Maison Francis Kurkdjian. If you guys don't know who it is, you're wrong because you do. He is the perfumer of Le Male, which pretty much everyone in this game knows what Le Male is. He is a perfumer for that, and not just that, he's done a lot of fragrances. And he decided to branch out on his own and create his own niche house, and this is one of his fragrances from that house. It's called Cologne Pour Le Matin, which means cologne for the morning. There is also a cologne for the evening, or Cologne Pour Le Soir as well. This is the one of the two that I really enjoy. What I get out of this fragrance is it's very fresh, clean, kind of powdery iris with a little bit of almond. It reminds me on the dry down a lot of Frederic Maule's L'Eau d'Ivre, which you guys know me and Frunk both really like a lot. Dry down, I get a very reminiscent vibe of Frederic Maule's L'Eau d'Ivre, but this fragrance is not as almondy, not quite as sweet, a little bit more powdery, and it has a citrus vibe in it, kind of a bitter citrus vibe in it that this is not found in L'Eau d'Ivre. And I find it a little bit fresher and not quite as sweet. The top is kind of, to me, it's very kind of bitter citrus, but also almost a powdery kind of iris. I want to say it's not quite a soapy vibe. A lot of people will probably think it's a very kind of soapy, clean fragrance. I have heard it compared to Prada Infusion d'Homme, which I did recently smell, and I can see some comparisons, although I like this one a lot. I mean, a lot better. Like, a lot better. The top may be off-putting to some people. I just think the combination of that bitter citrus with the powdery iris may not be all that welcoming to some, especially if you're not a big fan of bitter citrus. But the citrus kind of dies off a little bit. It's still there, but it's more in the background. And what you're left with is this very refreshing, clean, light citrus, but more this kind of powdery, not quite soapy. I wouldn't really call it a soapy fragrance, but it's more powdery iris reminiscent of like the almondy powdery iris of L'Eau d'Ivre, but less almond. If that makes sense. As far as to know if you would like it without smelling it, because you can't even buy a sample from Lucky Scent, you have to request it with a purchase. If you have smelled and enjoyed Prada Infusion d'Homme or Frederic Maule's L'Eau d'Ivre, then you will probably, actually, I can pretty much guarantee you will like this. You just have to make sure you don't judge it based on the top, which I don't usually like to do, because the top on this thing only lasts 20-30 minutes tops on my skin, and by the time I get to work or wherever I'm going, but from the time I put cologne on, I'm already past the top whenever I get where I'm going. So I don't really judge by the top. Mainly, I prefer to judge more the dry down. If there's a fragrance that I really only like the top notes of, I don't usually end up purchasing it, because the top doesn't usually last more than at most 2 to 3 hours for even like an eau de parfum, unless it's a linear fragrance. But I'm just rambling like a mofo. This one I have around 150 mLs of the second 200 ml bottle to fill, and I am hoping to have that done by the end of the week. My intention is not so much to hype this up. These are two fragrances that are not talked about very much. The only video I have seen of Cologne Pour Le Matin is by, actually, Julio brought it up. Actually, when he purchased a bottle quite some time ago, or New York Fragrance blog. I will put a link to his channel below so you can find that video if you are interested in it. This one's got a little bit more interesting base notes because of who Francis Kurkdjian is and the type, all the work he has done for fragrances, basically. His house is very, very, very highly regarded on base notes, and there's a reason for that. So far, I have smelled. There's only a couple of the fragrances from his house I haven't smelled, mainly the Absolute versions of this and Pour Le Soir. I think that's it, but I'm really enjoying the house right now, like a lot. Anyway, hopefully I described this well. I tend to kind of ramble and stuff. Mainly what I get out of this fragrance is a very refreshing, clean, citrusy, kind of powdery iris vibe that is just super fresh. I mean, it's refreshing. It's easy to wear. It's perfect for daytime wear, gym, anything. This is kind of replaced the fragrances that I usually use when I don't know what to wear. I just kind of grab this right now, which is when I'm running low. I'm really enjoying it. So I have 150 mLs to fill of Cologne Pour Le Matin and 50 mLs of Bois Blonds. I'm hoping that we will do that by the end of the week. If you guys have any questions about the fragrance or you want more descriptions from me or Frunk, feel free to message us. I can't promise we'll get back to you super quickly. Looking at the time, I can tell that I was not quick, which I had a feeling I wasn't going to be, but I'm not trying to like super hype up these fragrances or anything. Neither of them has gotten a lot of attention, and I think that needs to be rectified. They deserve their time in the spotlight, to me at least. So that is it for now, guys. Well, I'm not going to put a link to Frunk's channel because I guess I'm going to upload this on his channel as well. So, yeah, I got a little long-winded, and I'm sorry for that, but thank you guys for bearing with me, and send me a private message if you are interested in participating in either of these splits. So that is it for now, guys. Thanks for watching.